reunion. We had food, something to drink, a wonderful program. At the end of the program, they gave me a library card. It says something about the distance we've come and the progress we've made in laying down the burden of race. I went away to school at the age of 17 in 1957. And I started studying the philosophy and the discipline of nonviolence, studying passive resistance, studying what Gandhi attempted to do in South Africa, what he accomplished in India, studying Thoreau and civil disobedience, and got involved in the civil rights movement. We started sitting in at segregated lunch counters. We'd be sitting there as students in a peaceful, non-violent fashion, waiting to be served. And someone would come up and spit on us. Or put a lighted cigarette out in our hair, or down our backs, pull us off the lunch counter stools, beat us, and later we would be arrested and sent to jail. I got arrested the very first time on February the 27th, 1960. I felt then that I had been liberated, that I had crossed over. Between 1960 and 1966, I was arrested 40 times. Trying to create a beloved community, trying to create what we call in the American South an interracial democracy, trying to build a community at peace with itself. So I said to you as graduates, as students, you must realize that the most pressing challenge in our society today is defined by the methods we use to defend the dignity of all humankind. Too often, we are struck in the trapping of a comfortable life. But if you want a better society, you cannot wait for someone else to do it. You cannot wait for the government to do it. You cannot wait for your friends or your family to do it. Through your own efforts, through your own creativity and vision, you have to do it. You must make our society a better place. More than 40 years ago, another generation of young people, another generation of students, teachers, another generation of men and women, black and white, had the courage, had the capacity, had the ability to get in the way. They put aside the comfort of their own lives and got involved in the circumstances of others. We didn't have a website. We had not heard of the internet. We didn't have a fax machine. We didn't have a cell phone. We used what we had to bring about a nonviolent revolution, a revolution of values, a revolution of ideas. Just think, a few short years ago in America, here in our own country, many men and women of color could not register to vote simply because of the color of their skin, could not participate in the democratic process. A few short years ago, a state like the state of Mississippi had a black voting age population of more than 450,000, and only about 16,000 blacks were registered to vote. Just think, a few short years ago, in one political subdivision, one county in Alabama, Lowndes County, between Selma and Montgomery, the county was more than 80% African American. There was not a single registered African American voter in the county. People had to pass a so-called literacy test. interpret some section of the Constitution of Mississippi or Georgia or Alabama. On one occasion, there was a black man teaching at Tuskegee Institute, not Tuskegee University. He had a PhD degree. He flunked the so-called literacy test. He was told he could not read or write well enough. A man was asked how many bubbles in a bar of soap, how many jelly beans in a jar. My old organization, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, better known as SNCC, recruited more than 1,000 young people, 1,000 students, lawyers, doctors, teachers, to participate in the Mississippi Summer Project. The summer night of June 21st, 3 young men that I knew, Andy Goodman, Mickey Schreiner, white, James Shaney, African-American, went out to investigate the burning of an African-American church to be used for voter registration workshop. These 3 young men stopped by the sheriff, arrested, taken to jail. Later that same night, they were taken from jail by the sheriff and his deputy, turned over to the Klan, but they were beaten, shot, and killed. I said to you, students, said to you, young people, as you leave this college, you must keep in mind that these 3 young men didn't die in Vietnam. They didn't die in the Middle East or Eastern Europe. They didn't die in Central or South America. They didn't die in Africa. They died right here in our own country, trying to get all of our citizens to become participants in the democratic process. Their death must not be in vain. You must become participants as adults